Welcome everybody, I'm Darth Goku and I'm excited to bring you this video here today. It is the Nightsisters in Phase 3 of the Tier 6 Sith raid. I have done this video before. This is a remake. I've been waiting to get a better damage, and today, well, it's actually a video taken from the other day, but I've got around to making it today. We have a very high score, 34 million damage. I couldn't believe it when I got it. I couldn't believe how long I was lasting after I hit Enrage. And I'm also surprised that I actually don't think I had as much damage stacked up on Asajj before I hit Enrage as I did on the last video. Just goes to prove that it comes down to how long you last once you hit Enrage. Let's talk about the mods. My mods haven't changed since the last video, but for those of you who are probably too lazy to go and watch the other video is not very good quality, and that's why I wanted to remake it. So we'll start with Asajj, because she's your main damage dealer. The mods are actually irrelevant. You can use your arena mods and you're still going to pull off a pretty decent amount of damage. You don't really want to, you don't have to change anything. This is built, mine are built specifically for the Sith raid. So you don't actually have to go and change them, but to get the better damage and to last a little bit longer, you're probably best off trying to mimic mine, I suppose. It is pretty much the meta of what you're looking for in a Nightsisters Deathstorm squad. So what you have is base damage on Asajj. So on her mods, every primary stat that has offense, you get it. You want 4 offense mods. I put 2 health mods on as well as the 4 offense mods. You want as many primary offense stats as you can get, and you want as many secondary offense stats as you can get as well. You don't have to worry about crit chance, you just want to try and stack crit damage. You get the triangle with crit damage on it as well. With Old Ducker is pretty simple. You just want to get as much health as you can get. That way her heals are bigger, and every time she stacks a bit of health from her revive, she actually gets a little bit more on top. So she's a little bit healthier towards and tankier towards Enrage. With Mother Towson, you really just want to get a bit of potency and crit chance. That way, every time she does one of these assists from reviving, she'll get a few crits in, and she lands a few more plagues on top. It doesn't really matter how many plagues you get, it just contributes to the amount of damage you get at the end. The mods you want to have on Zombie, he doesn't have to have speed in this one. He really just wants to have a bit of health. You can have speed, it does help a little bit, but you don't have to have it on him, as most of your turn meter comes through your Death Storm. And finally, on Nightsister Initiate, you want to have crit chance. I haven't really explained what's going on here in the video, and that's because if you want an in-depth look at what I'm thinking, you should really go and watch the other video. It's not as high a damage, but I have actually recorded that video as I was playing, so you get a little bit more of an in-depth look at what I'm thinking and as I'm doing it. So I suppose that covers mods. Move on to Zetas. Now, with your Zetas, you only really need one to get the Death Storm going, and that's Mother Towson's leadership Zeta, and that brings back the Nightsisters that have fallen on basic attacks from the other Nightsisters. I'm not going to go in and explain everyone's moves and what they all do. There's plenty of Nightsister basic tutorials out there. So if you really want to learn it, that you can go and look at that, or I really just suggest going and reading the moves, because that's the best way to learn. So get in there and read them and try and relate what you read to what you see in the gameplay. And see, like, oh, well, that was how she revived at that point. That was because of Nightsister Zombies unique, right? There's a lot of different and tricky aspects to the Nightsisters, so you really need to get in and read up on each of the tunes and what they can do. So we'll get on to... we'll finish off the Zetas. So the only one you really need is Mother Townsend's unique. That will get you probably all the way to Enrage, at least on a tier 6 it will. But to score very big damage with Asajj, you definitely need Asajj's unique Zeta Rampage, otherwise she's not going to start stacking damage, and it'll just be, well, a lot less damage at the end, but it'll still be a pretty decent score, I suppose, but it wouldn't be in the tens of millions damage anyway. Old Ducker's Zeta. If you want to last past Enrage, you definitely want to get Old Ducker's Zeta. And you definitely don't need a Zeta on Nightsister Initiate. I'm not even sure what that one does. I remember I was surprised when I seen that she actually had one. And you don't obviously need Asajj's leadership Zeta in this phase because she's not the leader. There's another Nightsister team that goes in phase 4 and that utilises Asajj's leadership Zeta, but if you want to focus just phase 3, then you definitely don't need to put the resources into using the Zeta there. I've found that I don't use Asajj's leadership in any other part of the game, not in territory wars or battles or anything like that. Always go with the Mother Townsend lead. It's a little bit more, offers a little bit more survivability in my opinion. That Death Storm's a little bit hard to go past. You can go from absolutely losing to all of a sudden everyone's back alive before you know it. So we're getting very close to Enrage here. And one thing I didn't do, and I did it later on, and that's because if you have a look, to reset the stacks on Treya, the cooldown's at 43%. I would have liked to have reset her stacks a little bit sooner than I do, but I'd have to wait for that cooldown to come off, so it takes a bit of time to wait on that. I like Nightsisters in a lot of aspects of the game. They're very, very good in territory wars. They're very good in territory battles as well, or the dark side ones anyway. They're definitely going to give you the full clear. It's very hard for the AI to take out a Nightsister squads, and especially in territory wars, they are so good when a guild can concentrate their Nightsisters in a certain area. It's very hard wall to get past. With all the revives, and especially like even their counters are hard to predict whether they're going to win or not. Some people can't even win with their counters. They're very good in Galactic Arena, but well, that's pretty much the same as Territory Wars, but on a solo basis, in my opinion. One thing you should do is definitely participate in all the Galactic arenas that you come across, because the rewards for them and the mod slicing is very, very important to get ahead with. If you don't participate, then all those other people are getting further ahead than you are. Even if you can't win, give it a crack. Sometimes you'll win just by the other person not playing. They register and they don't actually put up a defense, or they don't actually play. I think they fixed the can't put up a defense thing now, where they automatically insert your tunes in defense, but it still is a basic guaranteed win if they do that anyway. So we're getting there. We're about halfway through the video now, and I'm sorry that it takes so long. I would actually speed it up, but there's a few people out there that want to watch each play-by-play. One of the things that you want to do with this tactic is every chance you get, and as you see here, you want to try and enter topple with with two people dead, Mother Towson and Nightsister Initiate, so that you always end up in this death storm that gives you the extra turn meter. Once you enter in rage, Zombie becomes a statue, and she doesn't really participate in any of the attacks, which slows down the turn meter train a bit, so you don't get quite as many goes. But it's still a pretty effective turn meter train, and without the two people dead, it doesn't go as well. And as you can see, every time that I come to go to come out of topple, I try and revive all the other Nightsisters he uses a meat shield. It's actually a pretty easy tactic to do once you get used to the general grasp of what you're doing. The main thing is turn it onto aeroplane mode, try and get yourself into a death storm, but by the time Trey's at a countdown of 10, if she's not there, if you're not in death storm by 10, just restart, give it another crack, and see how you go. You don't have to do that. You can just keep going until you enter a death storm later on down the track. You won't get as good a damage, but it's certainly, if you don't want to be wasting time on the game, you're still going to get a pretty decent score. If you can get a death storm rolling and make your way 2 in rage at least, you'll definitely score at least 5 million plus. The potential for this tactic is actually endless. It has the potential to take out a whole 100%, but that would be a very, very hard thing to do, especially with RNG the way it is. You definitely can't get Isolate to land on Zombie every single time. It's even hard to just land a... Sorry, need to clear my throat. It's hard to actually get yourself into a death storm by 10 every time either. I've got a pretty high success rate now. I do it probably at least every second go now. It used to take me a lot longer to do it, but I think it's either the way I've got my mods going, or if I've just worked out a good tactic of how to do it, I suppose. Practice does make perfect, do they say? We're getting down in the damage here. As you can see, we've done actually 30% damage, 32% damage so far, and Asajj is hitting for over 300,000 a hit now. So that quickly adds up. That's almost every third hit that she lands is nearly 1 million damage. And that adds up very quickly once you enter in rage. Well, I keep saying once you enter in rage, but your damage doesn't go up once you're in rage. It's just once you make it to enrage, you have stacked a lot more damage. And the longer you can last whilst you're in rage, each one hit from Asajj, if that's 300,000, so if you can last 2 or 3 more hits, then you're adding on millions more damage. So you just got to try and last as long as you can once you hit in rage, and that's probably the way to make the largest damage in this phase of the Sith raid. As I said, try and get your stacks up early. But it all comes down to how long you can last once you starts killing off people with isolate. And as you can see, I've actually go really, really well here for a while. But then the isolate lands on Asajj and it's game over. There was nothing I could do past that point, so I just had to survive as long as I could. When you get down and you're like, everyone's low health and it's like, oh, this next move can kill me, you're very, very cautious of what move to make. And that's why you can see me sort of at a few points here. You may even see me, I go to press a button and then I hold it in because I change my mind, or I'm hesitant on whether or not I want to actually do it. It gets very nerve-wracking, that's for sure. Especially when I was like, at this point I wanted to remake this video, and I knew that I was getting very close to my all-time highest score ever. At this point I wasn't too sure where I was at, so every single move I'm making I'm thinking very, very hard about, and also second guessing it the second I've pressed it. I don't think I'll ever top this score, but I did say that about my 29 million that I once got. So who knows? We might actually look at a full phase clear one day. It'll keep getting bigger and bigger. That's what she said. That's a very poor joke, by the way. There's my friend in the background. I'm sitting here giving him the finger. He wants to remain unnamed. Cooper! So we're nearly there, guys. And here comes the end of my... here comes my demise. Each one of those hits from Asajj was 300, 330. She's still doing a lot of damage there. Oh, well, not still, but yeah, she's doing even more each time. But all good things must come to an end. And there goes the isolate. And I may have made a mistake there. I shouldn't have used that move of Asajj's on all three of the sabers that had foresight on them, because now she wasn't able to kill one, so it didn't come off refresh. If that had happened, it may have been another million or two on this score, but it didn't. And you get that. I'm pretty happy with that run. I don't think I'll have to ever remake this video. I'm probably never going to get much better at me commentary. But it's not about that though, is it? It's about the content that comes with it. If you want an in-depth look at what I'm doing and what I'm thinking, and I actually even show you each one of these mods that I was talking about in my other videos, jump on there and give them a look. You can like and subscribe if you really want. I don't really care too much about that. And there we go, everyone. I'm quite happy with the score damage there. Yeah. and that was me using aeroplane mode. Always use aeroplane mode if you want to try and get into Deathstorm by living dangerously. It is the quickest way to get yourself into a Deathstorm as well. Alright everyone, I'm Darth Goku, thank you very much.